afternoon, and welcome to this Friday edition of Cronkite Sports Now Remote Style. I'm Stephanie Bates. Yesterday was supposed to be opening day for Major League Baseball, but instead we were forced to watch old classic games. With the start of the season still uncertain, Cronkite News reporter Zach Galman decided to get a little creative and simulate what opening day would have looked like for the Diamondbacks. Take a look.
Opening day at Chase Field with the Atlanta Braves taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks, and what a game it turned out to be. Picking up here in the first inning, Madison Bumgarner on the mound. Here's the pitch to Ozzie Albies, and he hits it left field and into the stands, giving the Atlanta Braves a 2-0 lead. Not a hot start for Madison Bumgarner, the newly signed free agent for Arizona. He knew exactly what was coming towards him, and what a swing by Ozzie Albies. And you can tell right here, Madison Bumgarner's face after he let that one go. Not happy at all. Still in the first, at the crack of the bat, Nick Ahmed gets nosedive to get the gunner and get the out to close out the inning. Bottom of the fourth, Christian Walker up to bat, and whammy! It's up, and it's away and into the stands. The virtual crowd is going wild, and the Arizona Diamondbacks get on the board. Top of the sixth, one on base for the Braves, and smacks it down left field. David Peralta tracks it down, and here's the throw to Nick Ahmed. Now watch this play, ladies and gentlemen. Throws it to home base and gets Swanson out to prevent the score for Atlanta. Top of the eighth, bases loaded, new pitcher for Arizona, beams him right in the back. This does not look good for Arizona. The Atlanta Braves get another score in. Moving to the bottom of the eighth, Christian Walker hits another one into the left. Looks like he had good BP this morning because he brings in the tying run for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Bottom of the ninth, winning run on second, Eduardo Escobar up to the plate. He hits it down into center field in that soft spot and brings the winning run in for the game. Arizona 4, Atlanta 3. Good night.
Now, nothing quite replaces the experience like live baseball, but given the current situation, the best we can do is hope for a quick return to the field. At least for now, the Dbacks start off their season virtually, 1-0. Now on to the hardwood, let's take a look back at the Suns' last virtual game against the Washington Wizards. Sheesh is the caption, and man, is that spot on. Ty Jerome dribbles into the paint for a slam dunk. And check this out. Dominating DeAndre with the over-the-shoulder putback on Book's missed jumper. If you're on Twitch right now, then you might notice a game underway, except this time it's being played by the professional players themselves. For Phoenix, it's Mikal Bridges, and for the Sixers, it's Matisse Thybulle. And if you aren't near a computer, turn on the radio, because for the first time ever, Suns announcers John Bloom and Tim Kepton will be calling the NBA 2K20 matchup. They are the first announcers to ever do something like this. Tune into the action on 98.7 FM. Well, the show must go on, without any public events, draft prospects, and their families, of course. Yesterday, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell announced that the NFL Draft will be held as scheduled in late April, but it'll be virtual. Details for this virtual draft are still being discussed. Well, in this time of NFL free agency, it seems like the Arizona Cardinals are locking up players every day. The Cards re-signed now healthy offensive tackle Marcus Gilbert to a one-year deal. Gilbert spent his first 8 years with the Steelers and was traded to the Cards in March of 2019. He tore his ACL just before the first game of last season, and now he's ready to get back on the field. Another player involved in the offseason moves for the Cardinals, DeAndre Hopkins, who just announced on Twitter that he will be donating $150,000 to the Arizona Coronavirus Relief Fund. Now, the Cardinals organization is all about helping out their community wherever they can. Blood donations have been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic, and the Cards have stepped up big. Teaming up with Dignity Health and Cigna, the team is set to host a huge blood drive at State Farm Stadium this Tuesday, and in less than 24 hours, all available spots to donate have been filled. Let's head back on over to the diamond. Major League Baseball players have long had a special relationship with their equipment. Cronkite News reporter Sean Rice explored the Milwaukee Brewers players' connection with their lumber and leather.
A bat and a glove, the tools of the trade for every big league player. But would the Milwaukee Brewers share their lumber and leather?
Yes, I would. If they need it and it helps the team, then I would do it. I'm not superstitious about having people put their hand in my glove or anything like that. So if they need it, they can use it.
No, because I got my own style, own way to grab my glove. Some of the guys different, sweating and all that. No, I take care of my baby.
The Brewers are fairly split on whether they would allow another teammate to use their glove. But is that true with bats as well? Let's find out.
Bats, really, you're just kind of holding on to them. So, you grab them and swing them, so it's not really the same. Most of the time, in most cases, people with bats, it doesn't matter. You can use anyone's bat for the most part.
Same thing, man. If they need a bat or like the way my bat feels or will help them do better, then go ahead, take all of them if you want.
Superstitions fly wild with bats in a big league clubhouse. But is there anything special they do to them?
No, just pine tar so I don't throw it all over the place. But same thing with my bat. If it hasn't broke yet, I'm just going to keep on using it.
Some of the guys have different philosophy. I'm the one who always says, well, I'm hot. If you're struggling to kind of be a good teammate, use my bat. And at the end, it's a bat. It's a little bit different than a glove.
Whatever the case may be, the jury is still out on whether the Brewers partake in doling out their equipment to one another. In Phoenix, Sean Rice, Cronkite News.
With the postponement of spring training and the MLB regular season due to COVID-19, the Milwaukee Brewers will have to put up their equipment for now. Well, it's March 27th and we are still in a world with no sports. So let's take a look back to see what this day means to Arizona sports history. In 1988, the Arizona men's basketball team beat UNC, going on to clinch their first trip to the Final Four. Cronkite News reporter Lyle Goldstein joins me now with the story. Take us back to March 27th, 1988 in Arizona sports history.
Yeah, so this was a pretty well-run Arizona Wildcats basketball team. This is a team that most people kind of described as they weren't necessarily a juggernaut team. They were just really well-run. They had good team chemistry, and as a result, it led to a lot of wins because they won 15 in a row entering the Final Four. They were dismantling every team in March Madness and their conference tournament. And it was really kind of just a good run for them because it kind of set the foundation of what Arizona basketball is now.
So if you take a look at their roster, they had a pretty stacked roster from 87 to 88. So building off of that, do you think that their program can get back to what it was back in that time period?
Yeah, and they've kind of had spurts of it throughout the years. And like I was kind of saying, it seemed like this season almost kind of set the standard for what Arizona basketball is now, where maybe they're not like a national powerhouse the way Duke or Kansas is, but they're always kind of that second tier, and they're really, really strong. And like you said, that 88 team that had Sean Elliott and Steve Kerr, among others, and how well they work together, it just kind of shows how good Arizona basketball can be.
So I know the players worked well together. What did the coaching staff do to contribute to those wins in that successful season?
I think they just really kind of rallied behind their coach. I mean, having a coach as good as Lute Olson, it was pretty clear that he had his players playing, behind him and rallying around him, and that's kind of what leads to a run, because you can't have a special run without a coach that you're not playing behind and getting behind it, and that's what these players kind of did throughout this run.
So other up-and-coming basketball programs, what can they take from the 87-88 U of A basketball team?
They can kind of take that you don't necessarily have to have all the blue chip prospects in the world to be a really good basketball team. I mean, even if you look at last year's Duke team, with the three best prospects in the whole country, they lost in the Elite Eight. When you look at this Arizona team from 1988, this is a team that, they had Steve Kerr and they had Sean Elliott, but if you kind of look at what everybody said about that season, is they didn't feel like they were this juggernaut team like I was kind of talking about earlier. They just felt like they were a team that really kind of meshed together well. So it's not always necessarily about the talent, because you can form an all-star team and not win. But it's when you have team chemistry mixed in with good players and good coaching that everything kind of starts to come to form. And that's what this team did.
Thank you for joining us, Lyle.
No problem.
Well, it's time to kick off the weekend. That's all we have for you today. For top Arizona sports stories from around the Valley, visit the Cronkite Sports tab on arizonasports.com. And as always, for top Arizona news stories, head on over to our website at cronkitenews.azpbs.org. We'll catch you back here on Mondays. Stay safe and have a great weekend.